and welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, the Ouija Experiment 2. Alright, welcome back to another episode of Garbage Theater. I'm your host Chase with my co-host Blake as always. Let's get this shit show on the road.
Oh yeah, I'm ready after last week's defeat and my punishment of the new movie. But I'll let Chase go into it first.
So
let's explain the movie, and I'll give you some shocking points that you'll find out.
Well, after my stunning victory last week in our debut episode, I decided to give Blake the Ouija Experiment 2, Theater of Death, also known as the Ouija Resurrection, Ouija Experiment 2. It was...
Also, there's another title for it, too.
Oh, there was a third title?
Yes. The Ouija Experiment 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
1.25 stars on Netflix, 1.9 stars on IMDb, 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. So a winner across the board.
Oh yeah, it was something. It was something.
So how did you enjoy watching this?
Not at all. And here I prepared for today's show. Shockingly, like I've done through my whole educational career. I watched the movie once, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm not doing it again." So I think I'm gonna be okay. It worked. It worked through everything else. So maybe my mind's just real sharp, and I think I'm gonna take care of it. But I only watched it once, and I said I am not sitting through this again.
Well, the makers of the movie completed the whole thing in 15 days, so it's not like they put a lot of work into it either.
Oh no! Especially, not only did they do it in 15 days, but I think they had one lapel microphone for the whole production. Because anytime there was a wide shot, like you couldn't hear them.
There was one person you can hear crystal clear, and all the people around him were muffled.
Right. And also, like, there were some weird things, like when somebody'd be off camera and they'd say something, it would come like booming through at points. It was just bad all around. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. Go ahead and tell us the plot of the movie before we get into things.
The plot of the movie. Okay, well, this being the second of the series of Ouija experiments, the first one being a found footage-esque movie about a bunch of people playing around with a Ouija board and ghosts happen. You get a little bit of that in the beginning of this one during the opening credits. It sums it up. But then it's revealed that was just a movie in this movie.
Right.
And this movie is the actors of that movie at the premiere, I guess. And they pull a Friday on Nightmare on Elm Street, the new Nightmare one, where it's the actual actors and Freddy's going after them.
Right.
They pull one of those on them. Where
I think the folks in the know call that meta. Yeah.
Yeah. Bad is what it should be called.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, good and terrible is what it is.
So it happens to them in the real world, and that's pretty much it, without going into the nitty-gritty, which we're going to get into after the quiz.
Yeah, so I guess, I don't know what to say about it. I am honestly nervous at this point, thinking, should I have watched it a second time?
Hey, I watched Pretty Thing 2.5 times. You could have at least given this a second run.
No, I watched it once and I said, screw it, I got this. And now I'm thinking twice.
Because when
that was probably a bad idea.
When I was thinking of my questions, I wrote one set and I was like, now are these going to be the obvious ones that he's going to memorize just going, okay, what are going to be the questions? So I threw
Oh,
out a
shit.
bunch of those, and I went back and I thought up some new ones. Now, I did go back and watch
Well, I
it.
hope I enjoy the movie you picked this week then, because obviously I don't stand a chance.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what happens. So, let's get into it. You ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. The quiz. Question 1. On the billboard of the Ritz Theater, what was the original Ouija experiment rated?
PG-13.
Son of a bitch. All right. So you got one.
I got one.
Moving on to the next question. Question number 2. Being in a dry county, Eric had to drive to what nearby town for alcohol?
Son of a bitch. Oh, man. Oh, no.
You can pass if you'd like. We could come back to it. If you'd like time to noodle around with that one. We could do family
Yeah,
feud
let's come
rules.
back. Let's come back to that one there, Bob, and see if I can get anything else.
Okay, we're gonna pass. Question number 3. What movie does Xena say the Ouija experiment is better than?
Paranormal Activity.
Oh, bastard. All right. Okay. Question number 3. If he gets
That
this
was a
one
good
right,
one, by the way. Like I had to think about that for a
yeah,
second.
because that one went by really fast in the movie.
She did. She was trying to sell the DVDs. Better than Paranormal Activity. Okay, like
Yeah.
okay.
I was
Let's go
wondering.
while the iron's hot. Let's go.
Yeah, I was wondering if I should ask that one. I'm sad I did. Okay, next one. There was a line in this movie that was one of the worst lines I've ever heard in any movie. It was, "We can't be like those girls in horror movies. We have to do what?"
They said it a couple times.
They said it twice.
Or they alluded to it a couple times. Oh, damn it. Is that question 4?
That's question 4.
Like, I don't have no penalty for skipping, right?
No, we're going to come back to them.
But you know what? No. I think I got it. I think it just hit me. Wasn't it Be Smart?
Do I want to accept that?
Look, it doesn't have to. Look, you don't have to accept it if it ain't right. I know it had something to do with being smart.
It had something to do with being smart, but it was said in a very bad way.
Well, then I get it wrong. What did they say?
They said, "We have to do smart people things."
Yeah. That I don't deserve that one. You're right. All right.
That was a line in the movie. Okay.
Yes, it was.
This next one. This one could sink me because I was going back and forth on whether or not you would remember this, and you might. You very well might. So now I'm worried. What is the pickup line that Eric uses on all the girls that he hits on in the movie?
You know, I don't know if it was the worst pickup line ever. I've heard worse. However, it was bad. But it makes me happy because I do know the answer to the question. And it was, I can thrill you more than any ghost would ever dare try.
Son of a bitch. That's it. That's 3.
Yes, sir.
What
town did they go to?
They went to Hollis, Oklahoma.
Hollis, Oklahoma. And see, I made a point to remember what town they were in for the movie, which was Wellington.
That was one of my first questions that I immediately threw away because it was too obvious.
Yeah, Wellington.
Now
whatever.
I
So,
had another question that I was on the fence with asking. And it was, how long after the sheriff stopped feeding the monster did he find her dead?
ooh, you would have had me. That's
Oh
what you
God,
should have done.
damn it!
Was it? Wait. Wait. Let me just guess. Was it 8 days?
It was 3 weeks.
Oh.
Son of a bitch!
So now that you say that, the monster. What were we dealing with, a ghost or a monster in this movie?
Okay.
Because let me explain. let me get into this. Throughout the whole movie, from the first time you see this ghost,
Ghost in
by the way,
parentheses.
the first time you see the ghost, it looks like it's riding a Segway and through a hallway, like no doubt. But it goes like in and out of existence, like a ghost would.
It can
It's
apparate
invisible.
in and out of our plane of existence.
It's invisible. You just see it breathing, and okay. But then the end of the movie is this chick. It's basically an inbred baby chained to a wall. So was it a ghost or was it? I don't know.
Let's take this piece by piece.
Because he even says you used the Ouija board and you brought it back.
Yeah.
Well, then why ain't it at the shack? What? It's a ghost.
I think looking for logic in this movie might not be the best course of action.
But and then that just adds another thing. How do you get a movie made with like nobody asked that question?
No.
And
Makes
then
perfect
Netflix
sense
is
to
gonna
me.
sit there and be like, Netflix is like, oh yeah, we need to fill out our horror section. What do you got? Oh well, we got Ouija Experiment 2. What's it about? And they explain it, and somebody says, yeah, you're right. Throw that in there.
Hey,
I mean,
I know 2 people that watched it.
yes, two idiots sat there and watched this movie. That's the biggest thing I didn't get. And then, like, let me ask you this. Okay, so you got the sheriff.
Let's go chronologically through the movie, because
Okay, you're right.
let's
The movie starts.
yeah.
The movie starts. It's got the flashback to the first one and all that.
Yeah,
And
on,
then they
on the
introduce-
flashback to the first one, they sum up the entire movie in about 4 scenes,
Right.
which the
Well,
first
hopefully in Ouija Experiment 3 they do the same thing with this one.
which exists. That's a thing. We just
we
figured that
found
out
out
today.
today that it exists, and I'm not watching it.
No. in the clips during the opening credits summarizing the first Ouija experiment, the main guy is reciting the rules of a Ouija board.
Correct.
And he's saying rule number 1 is
Don't ask how you're gonna die.
Never ask how you're gonna die. Rule number 2, never ask how the ghost you're talking to died. And the last rule, the most important rule, is never walk away from the board without saying goodbye.
Correct.
Then it cuts to a title card. And then it cuts back, and it's Xena talking to the camera.
Yes.
And she says, how did we forget to say goodbye? It's the first rule.
It's the first rule.
That's why you got it
honestly
wrong,
expected that to
dumbass.
I thought that was going to be a question. Like, I thought for sure that was going to be a question. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, wait, wasn't that rule number 3?
Yeah. That's the first point I paused the movie and had to think about what I just saw. And it was in the opening
really
credits.
What's really bad is, even though I only watched the movie once, the times that I should have been studying things, I was just looking for continuity errors for some reason. Like, I don't know why I was doing that. Like, there's like a clock in the background of a whole bunch of scenes, and you can just watch that clock go fucking willy-nilly through the whole... I mean... So for some reason I was fixated on the clock, and I was like, man, you really need to be paying attention to this movie, and I just couldn't. So
God.
I couldn't even tell you the some of the characters' names. I don't even know.
Well, I remember like the a little bit. I know Justin was the main like. Well, okay, that raises a whole other question. Who's the main character of this goddamn movie?
There isn't one.
I was gonna say, is it Margot, the weird girl, and the British girl, Michelle? No, it can't be. They're there in the end, but they don't show up till halfway through the damn movie.
Right.
Xena seems to have the most screen time, but she only makes it through the beginning half of the movie.
Right. Pun intended on half, by the way.
Wah wah. Spoiler alerts.
That broad was cut in half. Which, okay, I know I'm skipping chronologically, but I gotta say it. Her scene where she dies, there's a guy running a haunted house inside the movie theater, and it's supposed to be the actors from the movie. They're gonna participate in this haunted house. So she's reading from her little script, and she's like, I'm supposed to be in the basement, get some fake blood, and make it look like I'm dead. So the guy literally gives her, what is it, like a water bottle full of fake blood. And then he leaves her. And when he comes back with the people who are on the tour, she is literally cut in half
ripped in
on the
half.
floor. Yes. And the guy just plays along like, oh, she did a good job with that bottle of fake blood. And, like, that got me, because I was like, okay, I know we're just talking about a movie and all, but, dude, her intestines are on the floor.
You didn't give her intestines.
Tell me you thought it was that fake blood? Yeah.
Well,
and then stupid what's her name, Margot, sitting there like, oh, something doesn't feel right. Yeah, the chick's legs are 5 feet from her body. Something's wrong. Yeah, I'd say so.
Well,
this movie.
In that scene, she goes down there she's got a little scrap of paper with her directions. This is the most ramshackle event ever put on. Nobody knows where they're supposed to be or where anyone else is supposed to be. She gets down there, finds...
It's almost like it's a documentary of how they made the real movie. Little scraps of paper. Well, I guess I'm supposed to do this. Yeah, you might as well.
She gets down there and she finds Danny, and he gives her the blood and says, okay, make yourself look dead. They're going to be down here any minute. And she proceeds to just walk around that room, just looking around at things.
Yeah.
They're going to be there any second.
Yeah.
And then she wanders off to the back and then wanders out of the room, it appears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the ghost / monster could come after her.
Yeah.
God, that bothers me. It really, really bothers me that I don't think it was a ghost.
Well,
I think at this point I am convinced.
It was stabbable.
This was an inbred little girl that had superpowers.
Yeah. You can't stab a ghost.
This is true.
You can't chain a ghost to a wall.
Right. So the only explanation is superpowers.
Yeah. It's an X-Man.
I guess.
Okay. We jumped way ahead.
I know.
All right.
But...
Going back. Okay. We figure all that out, that it's just a movie. After the title credits end, it shows the theater, and the audience had just watched it, and they fucking loved it.
Oh, yeah.
They're clapping, and it's the best thing they've ever seen in their lives.
Yeah, it's like Comic-Con in Wellington, Texas.
Which has a population
everybody's there.
Then other than that event, there's no one in that town. There's many exterior shots of that town, and there's not a car on the road. There's nothing.
Well, no. It's Wellington. It's a dry... You know this. Everybody knows what Wellington's like. It's filled with inbred, superpowered monsters. Why are you going to be out at night? Riding Segways and shit.
So the cast comes out, and they reveal that they're going to have a haunted house the next night that people can come to. And a couple lucky people get to spend the night with the actors in the haunted house.
Right.
And it's this British girl and her token gay friend, who is the most cartoonish portrayal of a gay person I've ever seen.
It was... What's bad is, like, whenever he started talking, I was downright offended. And, like, I was like, this is just bad. You can't do this to people. You can't... how can you get away with this?
This is not a real person.
He had the scarf on for no reason, and
exactly.
I don't know. And people with birthmarks in their hair like that freak me out. just saying. Can you not dye that?
No, it adds character. He plays it off the scarf.
Well, I don't know. That freaks me out. Sorry to any listeners that have a birthmark in their head where their hair don't color right. That's a shame.
Anywho, before we went on that
sorry.
tangent, they then proceed to go to a little after party where they're all schmoozing up and doing that thing, and the main actor guy is grabbing on every woman he can find and signing their breast because they want that apparently from this guy who's apparently Brad Pitt.
It is Wellington. Ay, ay, ay.
So after that, they leave, and there's a short talk with Danny, who's the prop master of the theater, and he's telling them to be here the next day, and where they're gonna be, and how the horror show is gonna go. And so they leave, and then there's a scene with Xena where she's walking somewhere to her car. I don't know. She's walking through an alley.
This deserted town.
A deserted alley in the middle of the night by herself. A wonderful place to be. And there's a whole scene dedicated to her dropping her keys down the stairs and her retrieving them. And that's it.
Yes.
It's like a 15, 20-minute scene.
Right. It's bad.
She's walking, she steps on something, which messes up her shoe, so she sits down on the railing of the staircase, and her keys fall down the stairs, to which she berates herself for 5 straight minutes about dropping her keys.
Right.
Then she starts calling out to help to anyone in the area to go get her keys for her.
Right.
It's the middle of the night in an alley.
It's only about 6 steps down, too.
Yeah.
And,
so
that was the other thing. Like, okay, I know and you're in a scary movie. Okay, get it. So, yeah, a dark tunnel of a stairwell, you're not supposed to go there. However, you're not supposed to know you're in the scary movie. Yeah. And if you sit there, nobody's going to sit there. Like, it was where your keys were, it was very well lit, and they were sitting on a perfect little piece of styrofoam.
Where you were
there was no need
up.
for you to pull out your little cell phone light. None of that. You were good to go. But you made it into this big deal. As if you knew you were in a scary movie.
That scene, I assure you, was put in there because they couldn't reach the 90-minute mark. And they said, shit, we need to add 15 minutes to this movie. Xena, go drop your keys in the alley and just stretch it. Just stretch it.
Yeah, yeah. Or they probably asked one of those extras that were supposed to be the town folk and be like, hey, how would y'all add 15 minutes to this movie? And like, well,
we're at a loss.
I'll just make her drop them keys down that stairwell, and she could sit there and be like, man, I don't want to go down them stairs. I'm going to get killed, go down them stairs. And that's what happened. They were like, yeah, this dude's a genius. Give him a writing credit.
Jesus.
He's actually the screenwriter for Ouija Experiment 3. That same guy. Now I'm just getting upset with this movie again.
Yeah. So that whole scene happens. It cuts to the next day, and the main actor, and Eric, the
No, you skipped a part. That night, that dude Ty, that was running the whole shindig, he was mad because a girl was messing with the dude Eric, and he did the whole line from Thriller to try to get in them pants.
Yeah.
And
that's when they play with the Ouija board.
Yeah. That's when, you missed that part. The part where they let loose the spirit.
Yeah. The crucial part that makes this a movie.
Yes. Yeah. The without this scene, there is no movie. But anyway, they released a ghost, I guess, and then the dude, like, he's walking in the hallway, the guy that was running the whole thing, and he goes into a room, and then he goes and walks back down the hallway, and when he goes walking back, he walks by, and then literally somebody on a Segway comes after him. Like, this is one of those times I wish I had a visual representation. But I shit you not, folks. It is a person in a robe on a Segway with CGI smoke on it. And that's it.
And it just rolls by.
It rolls by. And what's funny is I happen to have I was smart. See, I was smart when I did watch it. I put on closed captioning because I tend to remember things better when I read it. And whenever the thing goes by on the Segway, I swear it says big noise. Whenever. So there's that.
That was also the Foley notes for the movie. Big noise here.
Yeah, big noise. And by the way, the noise that the ghost made, I hear that sound all the time. It sounds just like my stomach whenever I'm hungry.
Yeah,
I mean, it is. Yeah. They literally, like, that, the noise that thing makes is literally the sound of someone's stomach gurgling. That's it.
And it should be said, we're going to refer to it as the ghost, because at this point in the movie, it does appear to be a ghost.
Yeah.
Because it
vanishes
poofs in and out in
air.
smoke, and it appears and disappears. So, for all intents and purposes, it's a ghost right now. That's going to change later.
Yes.
So, it kills Ty.
Yes.
It then kills the girl.
Right.
Because it follows her and kills her. I can't remember how that happened because it wasn't very important. Because she wasn't very important to the movie. Neither was Ty.
What was her name?
Oh, crap.
Aha.
I have no idea what her name was. She was
It
that
was
not
Elena.
important. Okay.
Elena.
Well, not important person.
No, not at all.
Even though it seemed that her, Ty, and Danny are the only people that run this theater. So
You're probably right.
Keep that in mind. They're the only 3 employees of this theater that we ever see. So come to the next day where all the actors are supposed to come back. There's a scene with Justin and Eric where they're just walking down the street and the sheriff pulls up and tells them, you shouldn't be messing around in that theater, it's haunted. And then you get this vibe like, oh, I hope the sheriff doesn't come back into this in any kind of evil way.
Oh yeah, like right then, boom, bad guy.
Yeah. So they go back into the theater, and only Danny's there. And he says, I don't know where everybody else is. They were supposed to let me in this morning, but I had a key, so let's go about our lives like nothing's wrong. 2 of the 3 employees of the theater are just gone.
Yeah.
And they're going to move forward with this big event with I'm assuming the hundreds of people that were at the screening the previous night are coming to.
The Ouija Weekend.
Ouija Weekend.
Weekend spelled Ouikend. Ouija Weekend.
Marketing geniuses.
Yeah.
So,
anyways,
the Ouija Weekend is basically any haunted house that you've gone to in your childhood where it's some dude's garage.
Yeah. Banging a metal pole on the ground.
Banging stuff on the ground. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then the guy even alludes to that in the beginning. He says, I don't want it to be one of those things where they walk into a room and somebody just jumps out and says, ah. But then when they show people walking through the haunted house, that's all
exactly what it is. And
oh
God, this movie.
I don't even.
Before that, even while they were there, and Danny was walking them through what all was going to happen. That's when Eric says, "We're gonna go get some booze. We're gonna go get boozed up because this is boring."
Right.
During that, okay, we've only seen 3 people in the building. We've seen Justin, Danny, and Eric. That's it. And Eric and Danny.
And the Segway. Don't forget about the Segway.
Oh, and Segway Ghost. And so Eric is in the dressing room with Justin, and Danny's going through what they're gonna do. And Eric comes in and says, "Hey, I got a bunch of girls in the car. We're gonna go get some alcohol." What girls?
It is Wellington.
There's no one in that theater. Not only that, they've never seen anyone else because the only other two people that were supposed to be there aren't.
Look, when you got a line that's from the Thriller, from the Thriller, I can't even talk. When you got a line from Thriller as your pickup line, you know, hose is getting in the car.
They come out of the woodwork for you.
Yes.
So while that happens, Danny goes with him, and Justin decides, I'm going to hang back because that sounds boring. So he hangs back in the theater alone. Danny, the only employee of the theater, leaves this stranger in the theater.
Right. To go get booze with the other guy.
To go get booze with the other guy and the mystery girls.
Right.
Now, while that happens, Justin finds... What does he find, Blake?
He finds recorder glasses. It's glasses that have a camera in them. And somehow these glasses can also play back what you've already seen, what you've already recorded in the lenses.
Instantaneously.
Yet, when they show the glasses off his head, they clearly don't have screens in them.
No. They are cheap,
I'm convinced,
off-the-rack Walmart sunglasses.
Yes, with a earbud wire attached to them that went into his shirt.
Yes.
I did notice that. You didn't fool me, prop guy on Ouija 2.
So using this futuristic tool is how he finds the ghost. Because he can only see the ghost through these glasses. Because that's a new rule that we're making up about the ghost right on the spot.
Yeah, and none of this is ever explained either.
Oh, no.
Just like I didn't get to the end that girl Margot was supposed to be like some type of psychic. I didn't know that. I didn't get that.
Well, that happened in the beginning when she asked her stupid question to Xena in the Q&A portion of the premiere, where she's asking Xena if she was actually scared in the scenes,
I know,
and she has a flash.
But it wasn't explained. Like, yeah, she had little flashes and stuff, but it wasn't explained.
You fake it till you make it.
I don't know. Who cares? Broad's dead anyway. Good riddance, Margot.
So Justin hunts down the ghost with the video glasses. It kills him, of course. And everybody comes back. Now Justin's missing. And they decide,
not only is he's not even missing. He's in the middle of the theater with his neck broke on a chair.
Yeah.
And nobody notices. Like, dude's literally in the aisle.
Well, Xena was ripped in half at one point, and nobody thought twice about that.
Yeah, but this was before the haunted house even started. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody happened to walk through and just say, "Hey, there's a dude here with his neck snapped on the aisle here. Maybe
it's part of the
do
show.
something."
It's part of the show. That was another. That was another
Yeah.
stupid line in this. I forget. It might have been when they saw Xena, and I want to say it was the token gay guy who says. Danny turns to him and says, "Oh, don't worry, folks, it's all part of the show." And then he repeats to him, "Oh, so it's all part of the show?"
Yeah. Once again,
what?
Excellent writing. Ay.
So, okay, at this point is when they're actually doing the event. They're running around just in chaos trying to put together this haunted house. The loosest of terms. That's when Xena dies. So at this point, pretty much all the characters that we've been introduced to are dead, except for Danny. So there goes any notion of who the main character was, because they're all gone. That's when Margot and the British girl and the token gay friend come back into it. And we assume maybe one of them is the main character. That's
maybe
possibly. So more people start to get killed. They catch on to the fact that this isn't part of the show, so they're trying to escape. Now this brings us to my favorite scene of the entire movie.
Okay.
Danny gets the girls, and I think this was after they kill the token gay guy. Mm-hmm. How did he die again? I can't even remember.
Shit, I don't know.
He dies. And they're escaping, and they finally find a door that's unlocked, and they open the door, and there's the sheriff.
Yes.
And
There he is.
and Danny goes up to the sheriff and says, "Hey, I'm glad you're here. You got to save us. There's some thing in here that's killing everybody." To which the sheriff then unholsters his sidearm, raises it to Danny's forehead, and says, "She's not a thing." And then Danny responds, "Oh!" And then he shoots him in the face. And that's exactly how that scene played out. You gotta save us. There's
He's
a
not
thing.
lying,
There's
folks.
a thing killing
that's
us.
how it went down.
Yeah, there's a thing killing us. She's not a thing. Oh, pow.
Yeah. It's terrible. It hurts listening to it again. Anyway, so he ends up taking the two girls down to the basement, where you think, like, okay, that's where the Ouija board was first used, so obviously this ghost is going to be there, which it was, technically.
Yeah.
They get down the stairs, and it's the ghost, but it's chained to a wall, and now you realize that it was just some inbred girl.
It's supposed to be an inbred monster. But
yeah.
But it has to be a ghost because they summoned it with the Ouija board because it was long dead.
But it lost all its inbred powers whenever it was chained against the wall.
And became physical because it was then stabbable. So it's more
Right.
like a zombie at this point.
I don't know. This
Not only that, okay, it's supposed to be his daughter, the sheriff's daughter, because he was inbred with a relative and gave birth
Right.
to this horrible monster. And he
that only eats human flesh.
that only eats human flesh for reasons. And then
Right.
he can't bring himself to get rid of it, so he chains it up in the theater. Why, I don't know. He chains it up and feeds it pieces of people until he decides that he can't do it anymore, and he abandons it to die. And it dies.
Right. That's it.
And that's it. So I have to believe that this was still a child, if not an infant. Right?
Dude, I don't know.
Because
don't
the ghost, the creature, looks to be a full-grown man dressed like an old Russian gypsy lady.
Pretty much.
He's got an old babushka lady chained to the wall in the basement of the theater.
Yeah, nail on the head right there. I mean, that's it.
And
You know what I'm thinking though, dude? I bet you, whoever this director is, by the way, I do know he's the one taking the tickets when people are going back in.
yeah, I looked that up too.
Cameo. Yeah. I bet you we could call him and do an interview. And we could be like, dude, come on. What's the deal? And shit, we'd probably get a part in Ouija Experiment 4.
Was it a ghost? Was it a mutant? Was it a zombie?
Yeah. And how much meth did you do before you wrote this thing?
So,
Jesus.
So
anyway, get to the ending.
The ghost is the ghost is chained to the wall, and the sheriff is saying, "Okay, I'm going to feed the two of you to it because it's back now because you brought it back, so I got to start taking care of it again." At which the British girl gets to jump on the sheriff, and Margot gets his gun. And they repeat we skipped the line. We skipped the line from the beginning. Okay.
What line?
The line that was one of the questions, where after everybody
the
dies.
Smart girl thing? Who cares?
But it was so bad. After everybody starts dying, before the sheriff shoots Danny, it's just Margot and the British girl, Michelle, and they're standing there trying to figure out what to do, and Margot says, "We can't be like those dumb girls in horror movies. We have to do smart people things." To which the first action they take is to call 911 and tell the 911 operator that there's a creature loose in the theater killing everybody.
Now let me ask you this: why didn't they just run at that point?
Because
They were outside of the building, right?
No, they were inside. All the doors were locked. The ghost locked all the doors. I remember because Danny goes into the control room trying to unlock the doors and he can't get them unlocked.
Oh.
So they were trapped in there. They were trying to get a signal on the cell phone. And they finally get a signal.
Right.
And the first thing they do is call the 911 operator and tell them some ridiculous shit.
Right.
And that's supposed to be a smart people thing.
Right.
I don't care if there's a goddamn pterodactyl in your house. You don't call 911 and tell them there's a pterodactyl in your house.
No. You say, there's 2 Utes in here with a gun. Send somebody over.
Excuse me, did you say Utes?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So, okay, back to the ending. British girl has the jump on the sheriff. She's got a knife to his throat. The ghost is chained to the wall looking distraught that this is happening. Wyatt can't ghost out of the chains and help the sheriff. Who cares at this point?
Because that doesn't help the story, apparently.
So she says the line again. She says, "We're not like those dumb girls in horror movies. We do smart people things." And slits the sheriff's throat. Presumably killing him. Because,
Right.
she slit his throat.
Right.
There's been nothing to this point to show that the sheriff is special in any way that he could survive a throat slitting.
Nope.
Slits his throat. They then turn their attention to the ghost. They shoot the ghost a few times and it falls down. And Margot's saying that, I didn't feel good about doing that because it felt human. Meanwhile, they just slit a real human's throat open. No qualms about that.
No.
So they go to leave, and then Ghosty, zombie mutant, gets back up and bites Margot's throat out.
Yeah.
And kills her. So then it goes after the British girl, who then proceeds to stab the ghost to death.
Correct.
Like you do.
Quite brutally.
Brutally stabbing a ghost to death.
Right.
So it appears it's going to have like a Hills Have Eyes ending where it's just going to end on her killing the baddie of the movie, and that's it.
Right.
And she's just going to walk out bloodied into the night. Well, she gets to that point where she's walking out the door, and then she hears something behind her. And it pans over, and it's the sheriff, alive and well.
Yeah.
Looking menacingly at her like he's a ghost now, or a zombie, or a mutant, or something. And that's when the movie ends.
Who knows? Yes. Who knows? I don't know what he was. At this point, I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. So, I will say this.
The only thing that matters is that this
I will say this. Ouija Experiment 2 deserves every bit of praise that it got. Yeah. It was... Yeah, I will say this. It was not as bad as I'm the pretty thing in the house or whatever. It wasn't as bad as that one. So... That's a
statement.
It's got that going for it. I mean, so... In our two-show run so far, it's not the worst.
It wasn't as bad as in just... I mean, at least things happened in this. But it wasn't as good because at least Pretty Thing was... Oh, it hurts so bad trying to say something good about Pretty Thing.
I would say this beats Pretty Thing. But anyway, let's look to the future.
Oh, Jesus.
And let's talk about our next movie for the next show.
I was so confident.
What? Go ahead.
I was going to win this week.
Oh, no,
I was so confident.
No, you did not win, and I have a doozy for you. It is a lovely little film called Go With Les Flots.
Oh, Jesus.
You get it? Like it's French?
Is it
That's
French?
Right. It's French.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Now, I actually helped you out. Yeah, sure, on Netflix it has a 1.9 rating. However, on IMDb it's got an 8.2. So, some froggy bastards.
So the pretentious pricks on IMDb love it.
Yeah. So it's about a French deli owner in Berlin
Of course it
who
is.
falls for the daughter of a who falls for the daughter of a prominent French filmmaker, unaware that she's engaged to a movie star.
Typical day in France.
Now,
Berlin.
yes. Now,
Shit.
cor- correct. Now, let me give you a little more context on it. Let me get to my little note
Oh,
here.
please.
His name is Florian, and he owns a deli called.
Is he an elf?
So, no. So, hence the title. Go with Les Flots.
Oh,
So Florian, he's a
Jesus.
half French, half German, and
Half
owns
elf.
Les Flots, a French delicatessen in Berlin, specializing in saucisson. That's French salami, by the way. Florian's best friend is Jenny. He's going to marry Camille, but there's a problem. Quite a few problems. That's how it's written there.
Is there
People
anyone
on
in
IMDb
this?
love it.
Is there anyone actually in this?
Sure, there is. There's actors in it.
There's people in it.
I mean, Denis Aubert is Flo, or Florian, whatever his name is. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Denis Aubert, right? Or what about Leslie Dubreuil? I don't know their names.
You son of a
So
bitch.
anyway, it's a romantic comedy. It's in French and German. So
Oh, so I get a
You know.
choice.
yes, it's a little bit of culture for you. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I watched the trailer. The trailer was quite entertaining. It's as if they pulled a lot of jokes from, I don't know, 1989. I guess that's kind of the gist of it. But yeah. So that's what we're watching. Go with Les Flots. It's
Son of a...
82 minutes of horseshit. It appears.
Oh God. At least it didn't make the 90 mark. You can't count it as a real movie if it doesn't make the 90 mark.
Well, let me tell you something.
It's
People
probably going to
love it.
feel like 4 hours, but
You know, at first I wasn't even going to do it because I was like, man, it scored high on IMDb. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, oh no, this is happening. Go with Les Flots.
I'm
It's
not
going to be
happy.
fantastic.
I'm not
We're
happy.
going to get a little culture in our lives. You know, we've sat through 2 horror movies, and I say horror with a capital H. We sat through 2 of them. Now it's time we get lighthearted and cultural.
Jesus Christ.
And you see, and let me tell you something. Let me give you a little insight. All of my picks are like this.
No. No.
Every one of them. So that just means you got to watch this multiple times because I'm not. Obviously, I'm gonna have way more material than I did with the little thing in the house or the pretty thing in the house, whatever it is. So unless you want to watch more of this, because I have a list about 7 deep of international romantic comedies and dramas.
You're going to ask me some stupid bullshit about how many elven sausages did this freak make on a daily basis or something?
My friend, is saucillon.
Saucillon, excuse me.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Christ. This is bad, folks.
Yes, it is.
You know, we're
I only got to watch it once.
You know, we're supposed to be trying to get people to watch these things with us, right?
Yeah. Look, dude. This is. Look, people on IMDb can't be wrong. This is a highly rated film.
The people on IMDb,
not-
if I
see-
remember correctly, gave I Am the Pretty Thing about 7 stars.
Well, I'm telling you, look what they did. Look at the hatchet job they did on Ouija 2. So, I am trying to pick cultured, relevant, poignant movies for us to watch. and you're gonna sit there and poo-poo it because you'd rather watch the Ouija Experiment. No, sir. Not on this show. Not happening.
Well, folks, I think we figured out who the good guy and who the bad guy is of this scenario, and who
I'm
you
the
should
good
be
guy.
and who you should be rooting for from week to week.
I'm the good guy. I am trying. Look, I'm just trying to bring a little culture to the mix. That's all. Forgive me.
Oh. Okay. I guess we gotta do this.
Yes, we do.
So, the movie for next week, folks, is what the hell is it?
Go with Le Flou.
Go with Le Flou.
Yes, that's the name of his delicatessen. And his name's Florian. Get it? Le Flou.
No. Now I wish the folks could see my face right now.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Oh well, we're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice
So,
change of pace.
good. Well, we will put the trailer for Go with LaFleur up on our Facebook page.
Correct.
And watch it if you dare, folks. And
I think everybody should watch it. A heartwarming, I can't even talk. A heartwarming tale of a deli owner falling in love.
I hope this turns out to be
What more could you
so
want?
goddamn bad that you're going to regret
what
it
could you want?
so much.
Over 8 stars on IMDb. This is gonna be fantastic. Fantastic.
Or, my high tolerance of arty films will get me through it.
You have a high tolerance for these things?
Oh yeah.
Well, why didn't you say so?
But it's got to be at least decently arty, not just gugh.
Oh.
I'm going to watch the trailer. I'm going to watch the trailer, and I'll put my reaction up whenever I post it on the Facebook page.
Please do. I think that'd be a good addition to the Facebook page. We should do that every time we get one assigned to us. We should do our reaction to it. That's what we're going to do. From now on. Okay. You can look forward to that.
That's what we're doing, folks. So, movie for next week, again, Go with LaFleur. Join us next time.
All right. See you later.
Thank you for listening to Garbage Theater. Please join us again next week for another horrendous film and horrendous commentary.